What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Super Gamer Boys. I am your host and captain, Garrett Morlang, and here joining me over the interwebs is the one Nerd Dad's Zech Keenan.
Heyo!
And also coming to me live from his the dungeon in his basement, it looks like, JJ Purdom.
That's true. I am not good enough to have a basement captain, but I am in my bedroom, and the lights are not working because I have not been able to replace the bulb. I'm a little bit on the short side, and I don't own a ladder. I'm just saying.
It's okay. I mean, you can borrow mine. I have one in my van. You can take it whenever you need it.
I'm sitting on a phone book.
Nice. I wish I could afford a phone book.
I actually cut the legs shorter on this chair because I'm so tall. So.
It must be nice, Garrett.
What you doing?
right.
Man, well, how
Some
has
of us are a little sensitive there, you know? You want to watch with the height comments, Garrett.
I'm sorry. I thought it'd be funny. Like, I'm not reading the room very well. It's hard when you're not in the room to read the room, you know? How you guys doing? JJ, you doing all right? Good weekend?
I had a very relaxing weekend. It was really nice. I got to kick back all Saturday and did a whole lot of nothing. And it's always great when you take a day for Sabbath. Some people call it Shabbat. You know, you're just a little relaxing, not really doing too much. And then when your wife looks at you and says, "Are you to do anything? Like anything at all?" And I'm like, I thought I was doing it, you know, kicking it, relaxing, rejuvenating, and trying to like build up more stamina for this week, you know, that's upcoming. I mean, Lord. Yeah. So Sunday was all about relaxing around and getting some work done with, you know, I folded clothes. I was able to hang a bunch of clothes. I washed some dishes. And then I said, see, it's not that hard. And again, that was when I slept on the couch. Yeah, so I've learned, like, she doesn't think that stuff's funny in any way. Like, my humor is not working so well on her for some.
Yeah, well, sometimes it's the things you say. Maybe that's just what it is. Maybe it's just how you say it.
Yeah.
You need to say it with a bigger smile, maybe?
Oh, dude, I'm nothing but teeth. I'm like nothing but teeth the whole time I was saying it.
Yeah.
Maybe it's less smile. Maybe try less smile next time.
Oh. Then it just looks like I'm menacing.
Oh, or you have to go to the bathroom.
Oh yeah, I know. I kind of it did have a little bit of that. Yeah.
That like focus look, like, oh, I got to get to the bathroom right now. How about you, Zech? How are you doing?
Doing good. Saturday we ended up helping my dad chop down some trees.
I saw that on Instagram.
Down, like, three redwoods.
Man. Dude, that's manly. That was like some manly stuff coming out.
Doing some chainsaw stuff. We had like I ended up actually tried climbing gear, like the whole like spikes and everything.
Nice.
And then
yeah.
Climbing up, pretty tough. Me and my brother are kind of. I wouldn't say we're competing, but you could tell that there was a little bit of us that were like, I could do it. Yeah, well, I could do it too. I could do it better, you know. So
who's younger, and are you the younger brother or older?
I'm the oldest brother. So he is my much bigger, smaller brother. Much bigger, younger brother. Put it more accurately.
The big little brother.
He actually did a lot better than me. He actually got all the way up there and trimmed like a ton of branch. Yeah, he did a pretty good job. But then Sunday, I ended up cranking out from Saturday night through like Sunday afternoon. I played as much Resident Evil 3 as I possibly could in preparation for today.
Yeah. I like how you're building your brother up there, because we really tore him apart on the social media and Discord after we posted that video. So I feel like you're really like dishing out the compliments there to make him feel a little better, because I think he was a little hurt by everyone laughing at him. But...
You can't hurt my brother.
Okay, well, that's good to know. In that case, keep the content coming.
JJ, we lost you.
Oh, man JJ's video's gone. We can still hear you though.
Yeah. Okay. I don't know what's going on there. How's that? Better?
He's back. Yay!
I don't.
Oh, yeah. Well, and that was the end of JJ. So,
okay.
Lost
his audio's back, but his video's gone again. So I'm going to go into the Patreon while he's fixing that. If you haven't already, if you haven't heard of it, we have a Patreon, patreon.com/supergamerboys. You can get shout outs on the show, just like our Patreon sponsors, Bill Burr, Julie Bates, and Dustin Long, by supporting us over there. But we'll talk about more about our Patreon later on the show. But just want to shout out to you guys. You're awesome. Thank you so much for the support. And if you want to be talked about on the show, have JJ make jokes about you. Support us at that sponsor tier.
Some of them may or may not be super inappropriate. Guys, I'm sorry about that. I tried to be on the Wi-Fi to be able to do this. I'm doing this from home in the comfort of my own place. And unfortunately, the Wi-Fi is getting used up by Fortnite for some reason.
For some
What
reason.
can you say? Yeah, I don't get it. It's beyond me. But I'm excited to be here. This has been like such a cool, really relaxed week, except for the fact that I'm training somebody new to do pest control. And I realize I'm used to being in the car alone. I'm not used to talking as much as I have had to during the training. And I'm freaking tired of talking, to be perfectly honest. Wow. I've never said that. I've never said that sentence in my life.
Man.
Boy, oh boy. One thing I do want to compliment you on is your microphone. It's still not great, but boy, is it better than your old one. So... Yeah. The other one I got out of a Cracker Jack box, and so no wonder that one wasn't so good. And this one I stole from the boy. So obviously he's not going to be able to communicate via Fortnite for a little while. No, as long as you keep your volume low, you actually sound really good. It's just when you start getting loud. So just keep it real quiet, subdued, NPR in here, and we should be good.
Yeah.
Okay. You want me to do some of the ASMR stuff?
Yeah, the more ASMR you do, the better. Because I can also cut that out and start a spin-off YouTube channel with that.
JJ does ASMR. You know what? That could be a money-making thing, and I'm all about that.
Okay.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
We did talk about me doing some man-on-the-street interview stuff. You follow me around with a GoPro while I'm with the microphone in the street and just questioning people, and we'll just roll with it. And I say, let's go get it. Let's just printing money, baby. Printing money.
Alrighty. Well, one other thing I want to touch on here before we get into the real show that you all really care about.
You're not allowed to touch people again. I mean, we've already established that. You have issues with touching. You're not allowed to. So, okay. I mean, I wouldn't even talk about that right now due to the lawsuit.
I'm sorry. One last thing I want to brush up against here.
Okay. Is nobody hearing this?
Nope. Just touch it.
Is that worse? Okay.
Yeah. It's better touching is fine.
It's better to touch than brush. Okay.
You can say a little light petting, whatever is easier for you.
supergamerboys.com/Discord. You can go over there, join us during the week. We have some fun conversations with a lot of listeners that listen to this very show. We have some fun discussions talking about what we've been playing, what we've been watching. We talk about funny videos that we see. We make fun of other listeners of the show in a good way. We're never mean about it, but we have fun.
What? Yes, we are. Okay, you're just flat lying now, buddy. Come on.
I want people to join the Discord. I don't want them to be too scared to join us. So yeah.
Oh, it's
we've never let's just say we've never hurt anyone's feelings. I don't think.
Jury's kind of out on that one. I mean, let's be completely honest.
Okay. Wow. Well, with that being said, we have no other things to talk about here in the rundown. So I think that means it's time for the Nerdy Nudes.
It's time for the Nerdy Nudes!
Yeah, there it is. Oh, there's that sweet spike.
We're trying to blow microphones out as fast as we can.
Alrighty, guys. Well, let's. Wait, my camera's going all crazy here.
JJ blew it away with his voice.
See? Wouldn't be the first time.
The first news story here. Boy, when I told JJ about this, I believe it was last Wednesday. I was in the office.
You're going to start with the good one?
Okay. I love that he's...
We're starting with the big one. We got to start the show off. This is the big...
This gives the listeners no reason to come back for the other ones.
I mean...
Hey,
if they want to hear about our Resident Evil 3 impressions, they got to listen to the whole show. That's the good part. That's the good part right there.
That is the big ticket item today, I'd say.
But no, I want to talk about this because this really is the news. Like, if we could just talk about this for the next 45 minutes, we would. But
yes, we can talk about this for the next 45 minutes.
You guys
can. Zach apparently not a fan.
I'm the curmudgeon on this one.
Oh man. Okay. Anyways, so last Wednesday we were on our lunch break, and I was scrolling through Twitter as one does on their lunch. I was like, no, you got to be kidding me. I was like, this has to be an April Fool's joke. And I looked at the calendar, and actually, it wasn't Wednesday. It was a different day because it wasn't April Fool's, I don't think.
No, I think it was Thursday.
It was Thursday. I don't know.
It was Friday.
Yeah. Anyways, it was some day where there shouldn't have been any jokes. No jokes allowed on any other day other than April 1st. And I was like, oh no, this is real. And I went out to the van. JJ was eating his lunch alone in the van. It was real sad, actually. I knocked on the window. He was all hunched over, like eating his turkey. It was real creepy.
Yeah, I don't eat turkey. That was so bad. But
okay, bacon.
It was bacon. But the fact that you walked out and the way you did it, you honestly acted like somebody had just called and somebody killed my grandmother. Like that's literally how you came out. You approached me, you said, "Hey, are you okay right now?" And I said, "Yeah, I mean, yeah, just eating bacon, and what's not to be okay?" And you said, "Okay, I got some kind of bad news for you. Okay, are you ready?" And I was like, "Oh crap, you can't do that to me. What's the deal?" And you're like, and then you laid it all on me. And I still didn't have time to think about it. You just hit me with it.
No. Yeah, it was heavy. It was real heavy. And so the news is The Last of Us 2 has been delayed indefinitely.
Bum, bum, bum.
Boy. And I just want to shout out here, one of our supporters on Patreon who gets the show notes early, supports us at $5 and above, Derek Peterson commented and just put virtual hug for JJ. So there's a little hug for you from Derek.
Derek, I'm virtually hugging you back, even though there's a whole social distancing thing and we really should not be touching currently. But if I did see you in public, I would do it with sans shirt, brother, because I needed that virtual hug. Thank you. Because I feel like more like a skin on skin contact. That's kind of needed in a situation like this. I'm just saying.
Okay. So yeah, this story,
needed.
I love how I tried to brush past that and Zetch is like, no, we have to address that. That is not necessary, JJ.
And that's why I love that Zetch is here, because Zetch is just, he's willing to call it like it is. You're like, no, run away from it. And Zetch is like, no, there's a fire. Let's go right into it. Right into the blaze. You know why? Because you, my friend, are a winner. You're a winner.
Thanks, man. I'm like Charlie Sheen. I'm the Charlie Sheen of this group.
Heck yeah, he's the one who's all into coke and hookers. You're right, Zach, you surely are. Like Charlie Sheen. He's full of tiger blood, Garrett. I knew it. That's why we made that sweet decision that we made official a little while ago. And the only reason we haven't even made it official with, like, you know, the Blood Brothers pack, where we cut each other and like mix all of our blood with our fingers and stuff. We'll be doing that pretty soon next time we see each other. Yeah. Yes. What decision do we make, Garrett? Go for it, Captain Morgan.
Captain Morgan. So we voted, and apparently Zetch is now a new Super Gamer Boy. So
yeah.
That's
and
that.
We were going to jump him like traditional gang fights where they jump the new, you know, gang member in. But we're not able to, again, social distancing causes it not to happen.
That's real hard.
We'll do a 2-on-1 versus in Call of Duty. You guys can take me on, and that'll be my rite of passage.
Okay, sounds good.
Can I secretly hand the controller to my kid and like have him play, and I'll just crash through the headset?
Controller to my brother.
Oh man, lots of cheating going on, but
so
it is official.
Super happy
official.
to be able to say that. Yeah.
Zetch is a Super Gamer Boy. The only reason we've delayed it so long is I was telling him earlier, man, that means I need to make another little cartoon character of Zetch's head. And I got to change I need to change all the artwork we post on our podcast feed. I need to change the artwork for our website. Man, it's a whole production. So now it's official. Thanks, JJ, for forcing me into that decision, but no.
Well, You know what it's all about? It's about me wanting to be able to take days off sometimes because you're working me so hard. And so I want Zetch to have to take off some of the...
Okay, hang on a second.
What? What?
I'm working you so hard. Okay.
I'm just saying I'm doing all the work here and it's all me all the time. And I really don't even know what you do here. So that's why I'm thinking
I know
if
you
Zetch
don't.
comes
I
in...
know you don't.
No, I legitimately have no idea what you do.
Oh, man. Well, hopefully with Zetch coming in, not only will we have a great personality on the show, but also someone to help me with all the crap that I have to do. So maybe make stuff better. We'll see.
Let's do this. Anyway, back to the news.
Yeah, what the heck, JJ? You got us so off track. Last of Us 2 delayed. JJ's trying to forget. He wants to pretend this didn't happen.
I don't want to talk about this. I don't want to talk about it.
He's changed his mind. He's really changed his mind on it. He's like, I don't want to talk about it. But Last of Us 2 delayed indefinitely. So everyone is writing up about it. But I picked Jason Schreier's article over at Kotaku. It was Thursday, 1:53 p.m. The much anticipated post-apocalyptic adventure game The Last of Us 2 will be delayed indefinitely due to the coronavirus pandemic. Publisher Sony said today, this is a tweet from PlayStation, at PlayStation on Twitter. Update. Sony Interactive Entertainment has made the difficult decision to delay the launch of The Last of Us Part 2 and Marvel's Iron Man VR until further notice. Logistically, the global crisis is preventing us from providing the launch experience our players deserve. The game, which had been previously scheduled for May 29th, which I might add was also a delayed date. It was supposed to come out in March. We should have already been playing it by now. And then it got delayed to May. Now it's delayed indefinitely. The game is nearly done and ready to go, a Naughty Dog developer told Kotaku this afternoon. This was a decision made for logistical and economic reasons, which is interesting. I'm glad that was clarified because originally, I think when I was telling you in the van, JJ, I'm like, either it's it is more like a logistical problem, like shipping and stuff, or I wonder if they're farther behind than they originally let on, and they were trying to finish the game. According to that, they're not. The game's pretty much done, but it's like logistical stuff. The good news is we're nearly done with development of The Last of Us Part 2, Naughty Dog said in a statement this afternoon. However, even with us finishing the game, we were faced with the reality that due to the logistics beyond our control, we couldn't launch The Last of Us Part 2 to our satisfaction. We want to make sure everyone gets to play The Last of Us Part 2 around the same time, ensuring that we're doing everything possible to preserve the best experience for everyone. This meant delaying the game until such a time where we can solve these logistic issues. So, at this point, in summary, Last of Us Part 2 delayed with no date, no idea.
Yeah,
it's going to come out later this year. Chill.
Yeah, I think that's probably what's going to end up happening.
No, for sure. Yeah, it'll definitely be later this year.
During the holidays. Maybe. Yeah. I think it's going to come out. It's got, I don't know.
November, maybe.
We don't have we're not going to really know what that holiday lineup's going to be until after E3, quote unquote, E3 time. So it might very well come out next year, depending on what that holiday schedule
how
looks
heavy
like.
the lineup is. Yeah.
If not, it's got to come out August or September.
September. Do you think though it's still a PS4 game, or do they do PS5? Because at this point it was just supposed to be a PS4 game, but do you think
it's already coming to PS5?
It's coming to PS5 anyway.
They're gonna. I mean,
right?
They made a remaster of Last of Us already for PS4, which ended up becoming
that came out. But that came out later, right?
What?
That came out like a bit later, though, right? So, like, do you think they end up just launching? Do you think they end up just launching them in tandem, though?
I think they're going to launch them in tandem. I think they're going to. If it comes out at holiday, it's going to come out in both the PS5 as well as the PS4.
And to their point, like, it makes sense. Like,
oh yeah, 100%.
Not to spoil an upcoming article, but a certain someone kind of is leaning towards delaying another thing because if they can't time it right globally, then they're gonna lose sales because it's gonna get so buried in other things they're just gonna like wash it off. So if they can't launch it all at once, you know.
And even I don't know, like this is a new story we actually didn't really touch on last week or this week, but Final Fantasy VII, they're having issues with shipping, like the whole logistics thing, like getting it in stores, getting it to people, because worldwide, like right now, shipping is just in chaos, like with who's able to ship stuff, move stuff, get things where they need to go. So they actually released it. Like there's people like a week and a half ago getting Final Fantasy VII in the mail. It doesn't even come out till the 10th, like later this week. So people are already getting it like last week, like in different countries, like Australia. I know like people started getting it. It's different places in Europe, because at this point they're like, we know it's going to be crazy. We want to make sure they wanted to make sure everyone got it at least before the 10th. So in order to do that, they just started shipping it out early. So that way, by the 10th, everyone would have it.
Yeah.
Instead of starting on the 10th and then, people getting it like a week or 2 weeks later and, getting it late. So I totally understand like Naughty Dog doing this, like in this current climate, they want to make sure everyone's able to play at the same time. Nothing gets spoiled. Nothing gets like, and obviously, like you said, sales, like that's huge. Like just to get everyone just dive in, be able to get it all at once and just go crazy with the sales.
If I can armchair quarterback this thing real quick, okay? Like, why don't they just do I don't know, like a $5 off the digital version? It still launches global. And all you're at that, you don't got to worry about any shipping costs. So you'd make like 100%, gross profit on it.
I think, and I don't feel this way. I agree with you. I think I would like that because I would like to buy it digital. But the people who collect and want physical or bought the collector's editions with the statues and the Ellie edition with like the backpack and pins and all that stuff, like they're going to be pissed if they don't like receive the game. Like they're not going to buy a separate copy of the game, and Naughty Dog sure as heck isn't going to give them, oh, I know you already bought the game. Like, yeah, you bought the game once. They're not going to give them a free digital copy just to make them happy, because that's $60 they're missing out on. So I think that's the only reason why they wouldn't do it, is because people who want the physical and bought collector's editions, like they don't want to screw them over.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was actually one of those that was really close to doing the special edition. I'm glad that I didn't. That was when it was going to be coming out in February.
Right, yeah. So one other question I had, though, with all this, and has nothing to do with The Last of Us specifically, but do you think this affects Ghost of Tsushima at all, coming out in June? Do you think...
I think June's far enough away that it's hard to tell. We'll know if it's going to affect Ghost of Tsushima next month.
Right, yeah. My thought, though, isn't necessarily that Ghost of Tsushima will be delayed because it's not ready. I wonder if it'll be delayed because Sony has a specific... Do you think they have like a specific way they want to release these games? Like, are they going to push it just because like, no, we want The Last of Us 2 to come out first, and then they'll do Ghost, like maybe push that farther? Like, I don't know, because I just know like it's Sony, like they're particular about things. Do you think they would push that just to make sure Last of Us comes out before Ghost, or do you think they just release Ghost and then do it later?
No, I don't think so. I think the only real question that if I'd be thinking if I was Sony is if delaying is going to be figuring out timing, right? So I wouldn't necessarily delay Ghost of Tsushima, but I would delay it if its launch is going to overshadow Last of Us Part 2, which comes back down to that holiday lineup. You know what I mean? Because like if they can't squeeze it in between June and that holiday launch, then yeah, it's gonna have to get delayed till like next year, probably February. If I'm a betting man.
As of right now, when is Cyberpunk 2077 supposed to be coming out?
It's September. They pushed it. It was supposed to be April, and now it's September or something. Let me look it up here. September 17th. Yes. And at this point, that hasn't been delayed yet either. But that's another thing. Like, I don't know. This whole people working from home, obviously, if the game is far enough in development, this isn't going to affect them that badly. But something like Cyberpunk, like, shoot, if they need to do like reshoots for motion capture, or like do like audio recording stuff or like voice lines and stuff, those are things you can't really do at home. Like we obviously won't know for a few more months, but it's like, oh man, like there's a realistic possibility Cyberpunk gets delayed again if they have more stuff like that needs to get done. Because there obviously was a reason they delayed it from April to September. So,
in my opinion, I think it'd be a mistake to try to have Cyberpunk 2077 come out too close to when they're trying to release Last of Us 2. I think that you don't want to crowd the market. They need to be spaced out a little bit because a lot of people are going to be buying both games. And unfortunately, not everybody can budget buying both of those expensive games around the same time. I just don't see that happening so easy. Not for everybody.
I don't know. I feel like, though, even though those are both kind of big blockbuster games that could and probably in some cases will collide, I also feel like they're very different games that could, and at the same time they can have similar audiences, but they can have very different audiences as well, I think. Like,
I don't know, they're both RPGs.
But like
action adventure.
But like a Project CD Red RPG versus a Naughty Dog RPG is very different.
I think those audiences are going to overlap more than you think. Just because Cyberpunk's an action RPG, you level up, kinda. You have skill trees. Last of Us, same thing.
Yeah.
So, Garrett, I know that you are excited about Cyberpunk 2077. In your vein, I don't know if I've ever really heard you say that you're a fan of Last of Us. Were you looking forward to Last of Us 2? Is that a game you were hoping to get a hold of?
Oh yeah, no, 100%. I really enjoyed the first one. I mean, I love the first one. I haven't played it in forever.
No one just really enjoys the first one. The first one.
Okay. I guess my thing is I played it so long ago. Like, I played it on PS3, and it was one of those things where I think in the moment, like I didn't initially know what I was getting into. So when I beat it, I was just like, holy crap, that was an amazing game. But I didn't go into it. I wasn't as into like the whole gaming world at that time, so deep into like reviews and news and all this stuff. So for me, it was like, wow, that was a really good game. And I kind of moved on a little bit. And it was so like, and again, I played it. No, that's the thing. I played it when it first came out on PS3. So here's my story with Last of Us. I actually wasn't planning on buying it at all. I heard about it and I was just kind of like, oh, that sounds like a cool game. I was at church and all of a sudden I got an email on my phone from PlayStation like, oh, thank you for your purchase. I'm like, that's weird. I'm not at home on my PlayStation. So I was like freaking out like the whole rest of like this church service. Like, oh my gosh, what's happening right now? Like, I think I got hacked. Sure enough, I went home. I was like living in a dorm with a bunch of other guys. I'm like, did any of you guys touch my PlayStation? And they're like, no, we haven't touched it. And I went on there and there's no game downloaded or anything like that. But when I went to my purchase tab, yeah, someone had hacked into my account. And it was right around the time when all this, there was a PSN leak. Like, they got all the account information, like back in like 2013 or something.
Hey, how many times has Xbox had a leak? That many? Please
I don't know.
That hurts.
How many has PlayStation had?
I mean, let's not talk about it. Anyways, yeah. So I got back to
for our listeners. I had said 0 for PlayStation, I said 0 for Microsoft and 2 for PlayStation. I just want to let the record.
I was just gonna ignore it, but So I got back, and sure enough, someone had purchased something. I called Sony right away. I didn't even download it or anything. I'm like, hey, my account got hacked. Can you refund me this? And they're like, sorry, our policy is like digital downloads are final. I'm like, but I wasn't even home. I didn't buy it. Like, it was my credit card, my account, but it wasn't my PlayStation. I told him, you can look, and because you could see what devices it was purchased from. It's like, it was purchased from a PS3, a different PS3. I have the slim model now. It's not mine. And they're like, no, sorry, I can't do anything for you. And they wouldn't budge. I was on the phone for this guy for like 4 hours. Like,
how are you a Microsoft fan or a Sony fan?
Because I don't put my stock in the people. I put my stock in the company as a whole.
Into giant mega corporations.
Yeah,
come on.
I wouldn't be so loyal to them if I was like, wow, that was great. I love it when PlayStation spends my money. Thank you, PlayStation.
Wow. But you know what? In the end, like I said, I wasn't planning on buying it. Someone else bought it for me and I played it. It was a really good game. So anyways, all that to say, I want to play it again because I have the remastered. It was a PlayStation Plus game a few years back on PS4, so I need to play through it again before the second one comes out. So really, this is a blessing. This is a blessing in disguise because I get to play it. I have more time to play it.
It's absolutely worth going back through and doing a playthrough. That game, Zetch, I don't know where you're at on the whole Last of Us, or not, because some people... I
love the first one.
It is, to me, the best game I've ever played.
I
love the game. The story is just incredible. And so that's why I'm looking so forward to 2.
For Last of Us, my opinion, it's in my top 3 games ever. Top 3 best games ever made. And I'm including stuff that came out like on the SNES and the Sega. Like, it's in the top 3, hands down. And I'll tell you, and the reason why is because there's no other story that's ever been told that hits me in the feels as a dad than that game. Like when it comes down to that choice at the end with Joel, 100% I'm making the same choice. 100%. Like that game, I'm getting the chills just thinking about it. That game was good.
Yeah, I really want to play it again because when I played it, it was 2013. I was a single dude living in a dorm. Like I was just like, whatever. This is a cool game. Like it was a crazy story, but man, games have hit me differently now being a dad. Like God of War, like that game made me like tear up so many times. Like, oh my gosh. So I was like, I really want to play Last of Us again. And like, because there's a lot of things you forget in 7 years, like since you play a game. Like that's a long time ago. I've only played it the once. So anyways, that was just, that's our first news story. We're 35 minutes in, but we're on a roll.
These other ones are kind of small anyway, so we can roll through.
Yeah, that's good. Told you we'd try to talk about that for 45 minutes.
Almost.
Or almost there. I mean, I added a second story. Neil Druckmann did do an interview on the PlayStation podcast. Basically, he just gave a little more insight, saying that things are just changing day to day. Really, they have no idea. Like one day, it's like everything's on fire. The next day, everything's good. Yeah. So they're just really playing it, by ear, day to day as things go on.
Hey, one more thing on that front. I did, when you came out and told me, and you were sad and you said, hey, I just want to let you know. And I was like, man, that really sucks. I mean, what can you do? You can't control this whole thing with the coronavirus. It's changed like the way that we've lived our lives as of late. And it's going to probably keep reverberating and have a lot of like aftershocks over the next little bit. But you said, and I'm really sad because you're going to have to tell your daughter that. I know how excited she was about it. My daughter's 16 years old. She just got her own PlayStation recently. I gave her my physical copy of Last of Us. She loves that game. It's her favorite game too. And she was looking so forward to being able to play Last of Us 2. We just talked about it last week. And I had explained to her, I was like, so I'm only going to buy one copy. So we're going to have to like share, or, maybe we'll play together, and she's like, okay. So like that was looking forward to being able to play with my kid, so, yeah. And as the dad, I really did resonate with Joel, and so the fact that I have a daughter that she's 16 now, but a couple of years ago, she was kind of that age that, like Ellie's age, that 14 or so. And when she started playing it too. And so I resonate with the character very much. And I'm looking forward to it. It's kind of sad that it's, going to be put on the back burner for now, but I know that that's going to just build up anticipation for me when it does finally come out.
Yeah. And there's a lot of other good games coming out. So.
Well, that's something interesting. That's the thing. I was like, it's kind of a weird space we're in now where, like, what is the next big game? Like, Cyberpunk is the next game, and who knows if that's... Ghost. Okay, Ghost. Ghost is the next game coming out. But again, like, okay, next month they might delay that. Like, if they can't...
Final Fantasy. But that's in, like, what? Today's Monday.
So days. It's Monday for recording. It's out the end of this week, and a lot of people already have it. So, but I was listening to another podcast. People are like, "Oh, is Final Fantasy going to be like the next big game we get for like the next? Like it could be if things keep getting delayed, depending on how long this the quarantine and COVID-19 thing go on. This might be like the last big game we get for until the end of the year.
And that's fine. I got a ton of games.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
There's such a big backlog. Like Final Fantasy is huge. Yeah, totally.
Let's put it all on pause and give people like me and Garrett and JJ to catch up.
Me too. I'm overwhelmed by good games that I haven't been able to complete and not had time with. for that very reason. So yeah, I feel like a pause is fine.
I'm gonna get through Resident Evil 3, then I'm gonna get through Resident Evil 2 because I still haven't finished it, and then I don't know. We'll see where the wind blows. I don't know.
There you go.
Maybe I'll play through an indie game or two.
I still have to finish God of War, so I still need to go back and finish God of War.
Oh man, JJ.
Never.
So
I got stuck in a spot, and it's such a great game, but I got stuck in a spot, and I couldn't get to it. I loaned it to my nephew. He played it for I don't know 7-8 months or something like that, and finally gave it back to me. And he borrows games like I do apparently. And then when I got it back, I realized, oh yeah, I was stuck in that spot and I couldn't get past it. I messed with it a couple of times and I've never gone back to it.
You need to drop the difficulty and look up a walkthrough on IGN.
No, the difficulty already was on easy.
Oh.
In fact, I had the difficulty on really slow person who eats crayons. And for some reason, I still can't beat it. I think I do need to cheat.
Get a game or a game shark.
Oh man.
Does that come with a power glove? Does it have a power glove when you buy it?
And a Rob 64, yeah.
Nice.
Speaking of Rob 64, this next news story comes from GameSpot. Gabe Gerwin over there writes, classic Mario's reportedly being remastered for Switch, Mario 64, Sunshine, Galaxy, and more. The Nintendo Switch is apparently about to get a hefty serving of Mario, including several classic 3D games from the series past and an all-new role-playing game. This is reported originally by VGC and Eurogamer. Nintendo is planning to release, and as far as I know, I think this is rumors, but like backed up by sources. But so take all this with a grain of salt. But apparently there's a lot of evidence pointing towards it. Nintendo is planning to release remastered Switch versions of Super Mario 64, Super Mario Sunshine, Super Mario 3D World, and Super Mario Galaxy as part of the franchise's 35th birthday celebration. So Mario is 35 years old this year. Pretty bizarre. The remastered games would be coming from 4 different consoles: Nintendo 64, GameCube, Wii, and Wii U. Super Mario 3D World will apparently be a deluxe edition with new levels, and a Gamatsu report also corroborated that Nintendo has a new Paper Mario game in development. The last Paper Mario game was Paper Mario Color Splash for Wii U, which received a mixed reception when it launched just before the Switch in late 2016. VGC said the new games are due to be announced as Nintendo shares more details on its Universal projects, including the theme parks, because they're doing like the Nintendo Land inside of Universal Studios, and then its Illumination-produced animated Mario film, like the same studio that does Despicable Me and the Minions movie. Yeah, they're going to be doing a Mario.
In my Mario movie, I'm going to be mad.
Oh man, that'd be so horrible.
That's what we've come to.
So yeah, that is the news at this point, that there is, like I said, rumors somewhat backed up by different sources and that, but yeah, potentially some Mario's coming out. I'm super stoked if this is legit. Like I've played Mario 64, I played Sunshine, but basically, yeah, Galaxy and then Super Mario 3D World. I never played those two. And Sunshine was, honestly, that's like one of my favorites. I love that. A lot of people like to hate on it, but I really enjoyed Super Mario Sunshine. It was a fun one.
I didn't get a chance to play Sunshine. Super Mario 3D World and 3D Land are awesome. I love those games. Paper Mario, I love Paper Mario.
See, that's another one. I've never played a Paper Mario game.
Oh man, Paper Mario on Wii is fantastic.
Yeah, and that's what I've heard.
Paper Mario on GameCube, Paper Mario on N64. Man, I remember we blockbustered that game. Man, I played the crap out of that game. I was so sad when we had to take it back. Our 7 days was up, and I had to take it back. Man, that game was good.
Wasn't that the best back in the day with Blockbuster? Like you rent it so much, you should have just bought it in the first place. Like you spend so much on rentals.
Literally, their revenue model.
Yeah, it's just like, wait a second,
free 2-3 day rental.
Yeah.
My son was playing Paper Mario on his Wii a couple of weeks ago. He loves that game, and it still stands out. It's still a whole lot of fun. Unfortunately, I've never actually played any Nintendo 64 games, so I have no clue what Mario 64 is like. I've never played it.
Man,
I know it was very, very popular.
it was a game changer.
Yeah, I mean that was like a
3D
huge
platforming,
tentpole.
man.
Yeah, like the 3D platformer, like the one that started it all.
Yeah,
I'd love to see it come to the Switch. That'd be fantastic.
But then Ocarina of Time came out, and was like, no, this is the way you do it, and that's like the pinnacle.
But would you call Ocarina of Time a 3D platformer though?
Not in the same sense you'd call Mario platformer, since a lot of platform is kind of automated. But like the way you move around, like a 3D space, and like storytelling, like
just that, the movement,
graphics. Ocarina of Time is way better than Mario 64.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. I mean, Ocarina of Time even still holds up today. Like, especially, if I've seen videos where like you get it running in like one of those the emulators, like Dolphin or something.
Yeah.
Like with the GameCube up-res version. Yeah. I just said I watch videos. I didn't say I'm doing it or anyone I know is doing it.
It's false feeling.
Like people get it running at like 4K 60 frames a second, like the GameCube version of Ocarina of Time. So it's like a little up-res. I'm like, holy cow, this is beautiful. Like, this is amazing.
Garrett, when I asked you how to do all that emulating stuff, you said you'd show me and you'd download a lot of that stuff for me. Do I remember the conversation weird?
I think, you know what? I might have misunderstood you. I thought you were asking about how to download those other videos you were asking me about.
Oh, no, we don't have to talk about that right now. We don't have to talk about that right now. That's not for podcasting.
Okay. Yeah, sorry. I guess I misunderstood you. I thought you were talking about those other whatever. Nope, never mind. We'll move on.
Okay. Anyway, Mario 64, great game. I hope this is true.
I really do.
Because I would love to introduce that to my kids. I mean, I have an N64, and I'm pretty sure I've showed it to them. But
so would it be a port, or is it going to be like a remaster? I mean, is it going to be?
Yeah, so that's what people don't know. Like people are hoping and dreaming. Obviously, that I was listening to one podcast. They're like, oh, what if they remake it in the Super Mario Odyssey engine? It's like. They're not
man.
It would be amazing, but I don't know if I see him doing that. Like, that's crazy. That so much work. That's so much work.
Yeah, they have to rebuild the entire game. They're basically doing what Final Fantasy VII. Like, hey, take that great game and then just redo it from start to finish. Like, nothing's the same.
but it would be so beautiful. Imagine 64 and even Sunshine, like if they just did all of them in the Odyssey engine. Oh man, that would be insane. I doubt they're doing that. More than likely, it'll just be like an up-resed, upgraded like texture pack, so it's like plays at 720 or 1080p or whatever.
Yeah. Well, and you know what? Don't rule out the fact too that they could even introduce a kind of like what they're doing with the NES and the SNES game, where they just kind of have you pay the $25 and you get access to those. So it could just be an N64 version of that, where you get some you get the old Paper Mario game, you get the old Super Mario and Super Mario 64. Those are both on. Well, they were all on the 64. So
whatever happened to that Nintendo 64 Classic we were supposed to get?
Oh, that was just rumors and that was more like hopes and dreams than anything. That was never. I don't think that was ever corroborated or substantiated in any way. People wanted that because we got the NES Classic, we got the SNES Classic, so everyone's like, well, obviously we're gonna get the 64 Classic next, right? But I'm not surprised that didn't happen or that hasn't happened.
I'm kind of shocked because I actually thought they had taken out a trademark about.
The
patents. Companies do that all the time. Where they just okay, let's just trademark it, set it aside. So now we have it. We're not going to do anything with it, but. Nobody else.
Yeah, by that point, I think when those rumors were out, my personal belief was that it was oversaturation of all these classic concepts and all the old stuff coming in, and I was like, I think people are kind of over it already.
There was like an Atari one.
Yeah, the Atari Flashback. I have one. Actually, I have one. We used it like 3 times, and it just sits there. And unfortunately, we bought it for like $17 from Rite Aid.
Right.
Yeah.
Man.
We bought my dad a SNES Classic for his birthday a couple years ago when it came out, because my dad's a huge Super Metroid fan. He loves it to death, and that's like the only game he plays on there.
I have the Nintendo, the SNES Classic, and
so
I
nice.
love it. Actually, Garrett helped me. He looked at it for a little while at his house, and then he gave it to me, and then I had more games on it. It was awesome. It was amazing. I didn't know they didn't have Dr. Mario on that originally, Garrett.
Anyways, no,
legitimately turning red right now.
I saw your face. You didn't change the hue on the screen.
Yeah, the saturation. I hit the saturation button on my computer. I don't know. It went crazy. No, I've always wanted to get the SNES Classic. I mean, now they're still impossible to find, but because I want to be able to play Donkey Kong Country, which it still blows my mind that the SNES Classic on the Switch, like they have that app on the Switch. Why don't they have all the other games that are on the Classic are on the Switch except for Donkey Kong Country? Why not? That's the one game I want to play, and they're gonna make me buy.
Licensing with Rare.
It stinks so bad.
I guess.
So it's like I don't want to buy an SNES Classic just for Donkey Kong Country though. Oh well. Alrighty, the last news story here. Let's get into that. It's a good thing you're on here, Zetch, because you are the resident Microsoft expert.
Yes.
Otherwise, JJ and I would just trash talk.
Yeah, I know you would. I'm like a Microsoft defender.
You're corporate apologist.
Sony's bigger than Microsoft. What are you talking about?
We kind of thought you were on the dole, the way that you almost kicked Garrett's butt that one time. I mean, there was the physical threats. And then I had to remind him. I'm like, dude, he's barely over 5 foot tall. I think you got a chance, Garrett. I think you got a chance.
You can Garrett could totally take me. You can wrap me up in those big lanky arms.
They are, but they're like pipe cleaners. They're like little like Gumby. Have you ever played with like a Gumby doll? That's kind of like what Garrett is. I think there's legitimately a thin metal strip in each of his appendages.
You should see what I look like when I wake up in the morning. It's all twisted and tangled up. It's crazy. Phil Spencer wants Xbox Series X to have single global launch. This is written by Gabe Gerwin over at GameSpot. Coronavirus concerns could throw a wrench in its plans, but Microsoft is hoping to launch Xbox Series X in all regions at the same time. Speaking to IGN during an episode of Podcast Unlocked, head of Xbox Phil Spencer said his team hasn't worked out a plan B if the pandemic forces Microsoft to stagger the system's launch. However, he understands why launching consoles in different regions at different times no longer works in the age of social media. This is a quote from Phil. We're on a first name basis, by the way. We're best buds on Twitter.
We text.
I will say, having lived through the Xbox One launch, I know that significant delays in region launches hurt us. It hurts us with the sentiment of the fans, and every time I go to Japan, I'm reminded that we were... What? That sentence doesn't make any sense. Every time I go to Japan, I remind that we were...
Yeah, it's a typo.
What was it? 9 months late. Basically, they were 9 months late in launching the Xbox One there.
It should be, I'm reminded, but it's a typo.
Okay.
Or he
see what's weird? What's weird is when people transcribe talking, because you talk a little different than you write. So this is how it should have sounded. It hurts us with the sentiment of the fans, and every time I go to Japan, I'm reminded that we were, 9 months late? That's what that little comma in there is. It's like an aside, but they added in for no reason. But yeah, so basically, I didn't realize that. That goes to show how much I hate Xbox. Not just kidding. I don't hate Xbox, but I didn't realize they were 9 months late in Japan. I thought it was a global launch. I didn't realize that they were delayed.
Yeah, they're delayed, hecka. The Xbox One launch was not a good launch, guys. It was not a good launch. And there's a lot of lessons to be learned, and it's nice to see, like, if you notice, Steve Maddox didn't have a job much longer after that launch. And Phil Spencer came in. And then everything's been going a lot better because my man Phil he knows what he's doing over there at Xbox. So
I think he's been doing an excellent job. And I'm not just saying that because I'm picking up the Xbox.
Right.
He's been a great face for the company. I think he's doing a really good job.
100%. And the reason, what Microsoft is finally understanding is that, number one, it's all about the game. Okay. And the way they're approaching that is not the way that Sony's doing it, right? Sony, not saying there's anything wrong with the way Sony's doing it. Sony's doing a very good job of just being like, hey, look, we're doing our strongest point, or our strongest ability is being able to make really good single player. Like, that's really it. Like, if you compare Xbox Live to the PSN in terms of like competitiveness or the ability to easy group chats, which I hate the way PlayStation does it. I really like the way Xbox does it a lot better. Like, Xbox would win on that front. Sony, though, doesn't really care about that stuff because they're like, well, people on our consoles are playing single player, so we can focus on those things later. But right now, it's got to make sure we get this good stuff out. So anyway, back to Phil. He's doing a good job of being able to be like, okay, well, what do we have going for us? We got PC. We can make games for PC. We can make games for Xbox, and we can make them sync together, And that's kind of been their new goal. So anyway, if I can talk up Xbox for a second, Phil's doing a good job of being able to be like, hey, look, we do want to make sure we can launch globally because that hurt us last time, as he pointed out, which we kind of talked about last. And it's nice to see that. I'm sad to see that it might be delayed, because if in the back of my mind, I really, really do want to get an Xbox Series X at launch. I really do. Don't know if I can or if I will.
You looked around right now like you were trying to see if your wife was listening. Is she on the other side of the house?
She's not on the other side of the house. I can't say it too loud.
All right, you got to say it kind of quieter. Okay, gotcha.
And the kids are
picking up what you're putting down.
The kids will wake up. They'll be like, Dad, you getting an Xbox? Like, no, go back to bed.
Yeah. I even think it's interesting though that they don't have a plan B ready. Like, so
they got a plan B ready. Come on.
I mean, it says right here, he said that his team hasn't worked out a plan B.
He's not gonna be like, hey, by the way, Sony, here's my plan B.
I'm not saying he has to share the plan B. I'm not saying he has to share the plan B, but he could be like, oh yeah, something goes wrong, we got a plan, don't worry about it. Like, at least put if they're all about like the players now, all of a sudden you think that he'd be willing to put them at ease if they had something like, hey, this is our plan, but we have a plan B, and if everything goes to crap, we got you covered. But
I kind of like the confidence.
Plan B is, well, we're delaying the console. What other plan B is there?
I like the confidence. Like, no, we're going for it. And, hey, if it doesn't work, like, I don't know, because we're just getting it, So that's confidence. That's why I say Phil Spencer's doing a great job. Because if anything, even if you don't know what you're doing, even if you have no clue, pretend like you do. So that way everybody goes, yeah, look at that. Yeah, Xbox has their stuff together.
Or you stay silent like Sony and just don't tell anybody anything ever.
Although I do like that too, because that leads to a lot of mystery, and it does build up anticipation.
It does. There are two really good strategies. That's the thing.
Yeah, everybody's like, they're not saying anything. They've got to have something going on.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hopefully they just don't have a misfire when they do let off that information. Like that's the fear, is like they release everything and it's like, it's cool stuff, but they just like, it's just like, I don't know, comes across like a dud. Like that's my fear. Like I'm sure it won't be. Like I'm sure it's gonna be great, but it's like, ooh, you're building up so much anticipation. Will you be able to match what everyone's anticipating now? That's
there's one guy
hype is good.
There.
Oh, go ahead.
No, there's one guy sitting there like twiddling a pencil, and they're like, "Hey, we gotta make an announcement, man. Do you want to do anything?" And he's like, "Yeah, you know what? So many things that we could be saying. Crap, I got nothing, dude. No, we can't say anything. I got nothing."
He has writer's block, really bad writer's block for like the last 6 months.
Come on! He's like, something.
Yeah.
I got it.
Well-
I got it. We'll delay Last of Us Part 2.
Yeah, that's something, right? I mean, that's us doing something.
Just okay, guys. I'm just spitballing here, but what if we delay? No, you don't like that? Well, sorry. I already hit send on the tweet. Sorry. Oh shoot.
Cool.
This is the part of the show where we talk about our Patreon. Hey. So if you haven't already, go to patreon.com/supergamerboys. Take a look at our tiers over there. If you really love what we do, love our show, you love us, who couldn't love a face like JJ's?
Pretty much my mother and my aunt, they would say like something's going on with your face. I'm not really, I don't know how to take that. I don't know what that means.
You have
So
an
it's like-
excellent face. It's very
Thank you.
symmetrical.
I like your guys' faces too, with the eyes being where they are and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah,
Very
thanks,
even.
JJ.
Yeah.
If you want to see more of JJ's face, then go over there, support us. Just $1 a month. You can get episodes a couple days early and ad free, and it helps us, keep stuff rolling. One day we'll maybe be able to buy JJ a microphone that doesn't sound like a trash can.
Yeah, that's the hope and goal, is that you can keep supporting us, and then eventually I won't sound like total gutter trash. And it'll also keep Garrett in his sweet supply of edible underwear. And Zetch has got a penchant for sitting on phone books. If you can help us, I mean, phone books aren't free or anything. How do you think he can afford them? Well, it's with Patreon support. So if you can do that, again, even for like $1 a month, it would greatly be appreciated.
Yeah, 100%. Alrighty, well, let's get back into the show.
Wait a second, are phone books for free?
I mean, I get mine for free, but
I
maybe
always
it's just a
get charged
Modesto
for mine.
thing.
Okay. Must be. I'm in the boondocks, buddy.
Yeah, there we go.
You want us to bring you a phone book? Anyway.
Alrighty, guys, let's get into some new releases here. Really, the only notable one was Resident Evil 3. Came out April 3rd on PS4, Xbox One, and PC. And with that, let's just roll right into what you're playing. Sorry, JJ. Zetch and I are going to go first together. We're going to go together because we both played this lovely, lovely game called Resident Evil 3.
Let's not call it lovely.
Yeah, as I was saying it, I'm like, that's not quite my sentiment, but yeah, why don't you go ahead?
Okay, so I played it on Xbox One X, and the game ran great, runs really smooth. I had no issues with it, no frame rate drops, no issues with loading. Loaded really quick, it's fine, really well put together. The opening sequence of the game, awesome. I really liked how quickly you jump right into the action. I like how they don't like tippy toe around Nemesis being in it. He's just like boom, like first 30 seconds of the game, first 30 minutes of the game. No, not even 30 minutes, probably even 5 minutes in.
Yeah, it's
no
just the first few
exaggeration.
minutes.
Boom, he's right. He doesn't even use the door. He literally just knocks down a wall. And
Kool-Aid
then
Man.
you're running from him for the rest of the game.
Oh yeah, he actually comes in and he's like, oh yeah.
If the Kool-Aid Man,
Kool-Aid!
if the Kool-Aid Man had a flamethrower and were trying to kill you, he'd be Nemesis. Okay, so but yeah, man, this game is not. I wouldn't say it's a scary game. Okay, I don't.
No.
I'm not scared at all. I'm having fun. I'm enjoying the game. I think it's a lot of fun. It's just not Resident Evil 2. So,
Yeah.
And I think the reason why it's not scary, well, for me it's RB. For you it'd be like R1 probably. Is the dodge ability.
Right.
In Resident Evil 2, you don't have any ability to dodge. There's no.
No, you're screwed.
You are defenseless in Resident Evil 2, and you always run out of ammo. I'm playing it on normal, okay? So I'm not playing on hard, not playing on easy, playing right in the dead middle difficulty, and I have never ran out of ammo.
Same here.
When I am playing as Carlos, I have upwards of 200 assault rifle rounds.
Right.
You know
You're
how
just
many
mowing
zombies
fools
I can
down.
take down with 200 assault rifle rounds? All of them. I can kill all the zombies. I am not afraid of anything in this game. When you get down into the sewer and those big sludge things come out, you can one-shot them with flame rounds.
With flame rounds. And they supply them. Like as you're walking down the hallway, they're just sitting around everywhere. It's like, oh, cool. I got some flame rounds.
It's not like it's not like there's, and they're huge. You're not like you're gonna miss.
They take up the entire hallway, and you're just like thunk with your grenade launcher, and boom. Like, okay, that was easy.
I can't even try to miss them. They're so big. So this game is not. If you're going into Resident Evil 3 and you're wanting Resident Evil 2, that is not this. It is not this game at all.
No.
If you're wanting a really fun action horror game that it's more actiony than horror, then by all means check out this game. I will say that every run-in I've had with Nemesis has been awesome, and they keep getting better and better. So
interesting.
Yeah. And I am at
I was actually going to say that with each run-in with Nemesis, I've enjoyed it less and less. Only because at first he's terrifying to me, and I feel like he gets less and less scary to me. Like even though he gets crazier and crazier with like the way he like starts evolving and stuff like that.
By the way, spoilers.
I mean,
I'm going to spoil this game for you.
This is what? It's a PS1 game, and also it's kind of the same premise as every Resident Evil game. Like the main boss evolves throughout the game. It's the same boss, but just keeps getting different, doing different things. Like that's how Resident Evil 2 was. If you haven't played that, sorry, spoilers for that, I guess too. But for me, I thought he was more terrifying at the beginning with like his machine gun and the sounds and him chasing you down, and like you're running down the alleyway and he takes up the entire alleyway and you got to get by him and stuff like that. Where now it's just like,
it doesn't matter. I was never scared because you just have the dodge button. You just dodge right by him. So I wasn't scared of him in the beginning.
But even more so, like, it's getting crazier, the boss fights, but it's like, oh, this isn't like...
Right, but I think once you accept the fact that it's not a horror game and it's an action game, the game plays really well as an action game. Like getting into those boss fights, I was like, oh, this is great. This is fun. I am enjoying this boss fight in this action game.
Yeah.
Why do you think they deviated from the horror aspect of it and made it more of an action game?
I can't really speak to the early Resident Evils, like 1, 2, and 3. I do know 4 was more horror than 3. 5 was more actiony. And then 6 was even more actiony.
Yeah.
And then 7 was a return to horror. So
7 was incredible.
7 is the best one. 7 is one of the scariest games I've ever played in my life. Outlast
at least
2
the
is
first
the
half of
scariest
it,
game.
yeah.
I made it like 30 seconds. No, I think I made it 15 minutes in. I was like, this is fun. I'm not enjoying this.
Oh, no.
But
so I've never played Outlast 2. I think I'll have to try that.
Sure. Have fun. Wear a diaper.
Wear a diaper.
That's another topic.
I already do. I do all the time. I have loose stool, so
we'll have an episode where we just run down our least favorite games of all time, and that's going to be on one of mine. But anyway, I don't know, Garrett. What?
So so I have a lot of the same sentiments as you, where I never run out of ammo. Like I remember in Resident Evil 2, I was like hoarding as much of like the gunpowder as possible, and I was crafting a lot of ammo because I was always running out. Honestly, if you go to my box next, like in the safe rooms, they have the storage boxes. It's full of gunpowder. I haven't even had to craft my own ammo because I pick up so much in the world. So even if I run out of ammo, I can just craft a crap ton more because I just have a box full of gunpowder. And then, I don't know. I think that's been the biggest bummer to me is like, I was talking with JJ a little bit earlier about it, but it's like another issue I have with the game is that it's so short, but at the same time, it's like a pro. It's a pro and a con at the same time for me. It's like a con because obviously where you spend $60 for a game and the average runtime from what I've heard is people are beating it in like 5.5 hours about.
Oh,
You
I
know?
must be like at the end then.
Yeah, no,
I'm like
so
4.5 hours in.
last night I got to a point, and I think we're at a similar point in the hospital. And I was just like, you know what? It was super late. I was like, I need to go to bed, but maybe I can finish it tonight. Let me look up in the walkthrough where I am. And I think, we're, without spoiling anything, like giving times, so any times and stuff that I've done. But I'm like, oh yeah, like I could have beat it, but I would have been up way later than I wanted to. I was already up later than I wanted to, and I had an early morning this morning. But yeah, so it's like, I have heard it's short. Like people are beating it way too quickly for how much you pay for it, which is kind of a bummer. But at the same time, I was like, oh, it's kind of a pro because honestly, I don't know, like nothing is quite grabbing me and drawing me in like Resident Evil 2. Resident Evil 2, I wanted to stay in that world longer because I like scary games. I like being terrified, and the story was good. And
We'll go play Outlast 2 then. You have a terrible story and be scared out of your mind.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. I like the story with it. I really like the story. And then jumping into this, it's like, oh, the story is kind of mediocre and nothing else like mechanics-wise is drawing me in. Like I don't necessarily like the action-y stuff. And so I'm kind of glad it's almost over because I'm like, not that I hate it, but I don't want to spend more time than I have to with it either. So it's kind of a weird like middle of the road thing. I'm like, this is just an okay game. Like this is a game if I bought for 30 or $40 on sale, I'd be really happy with it. But I'm kind of bummed I spent $60 on it.
Yeah, I'd probably be more bummed too. So me and my other nerd dad, if you remember from back in the old days, Steve, he's like my best friend since we were like in college. We you can share your games on Xbox, So we both have like our own share. We both buy our own games and then share our library. So anytime a new game comes out, we usually will hit each other and be like, "Hey man, if I Venmo you 30, will you buy this game?" And so I ended up buying Resident Evil 3, and so I got it for like half the price. And I'm like, "Yeah, whatever."
Okay, nice.
Nice.
So he has it and I have it, and we can play it at the same time, even if we wanted to.
That's amazing. You're able to do that. Wow.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. It's a pretty sweet deal.
Yeah. So, and I was trying to think. There's one other thing that I wanted to talk about with it, but I kind of lost what I was going to say. But yeah, I don't know. It's just like it's a really, really, really just okay game. Like it's not bad to me. It's just like barely good, mostly okay kind of thing. Like I don't know how to explain it because it's not. Yeah, like you said, mechanics are good. Like things are smooth, mechanics are good, but then the graphics are amazing. The sounds are amazing. Like just like the sound design, everything is like
AAA game.
Yeah, it's top notch, but it's just like okay, like nothing is hooking me in to want to go back and play it a second or third time or anything like that.
Yeah, I was
where like Resident Evil 2 with the multiple campaigns, I wanted to play through that 4 times so I could go through each campaign, like, Leon first, Claire second, Claire first, Leon second. And it's just like, I want to keep doing this because this is awesome. This game is like, I'm fine with playing it once and I will probably never touch it again.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking too. I'm pretty sure I'm going to get through this game and not play it, but I will play Resident Evil Resistance. Did you get a chance to jump into that?
Yeah, I did play that. I was only able to do one match because I was having issues connecting for some reason. It kept like kicking me out of stuff. It was like on like the first night, so maybe it was just
overloaded
launch issues, kind of something weird with that. But I played one match and I got to play as the mastermind, which was fun, and I won. Like I ended up. So for those of you who don't know, I think the way they were trying to justify people paying $60 for this package is because, the campaign's only 5 or 6 hours, but it comes with this multiplayer mode, which Resident Evil doesn't typically have. But it's an, what do they call it? Not isometric.
It's an asymmetrical.
Asymmetrical. Yeah. So it's like 1 versus 4. And the idea is the mastermind, you use security cameras and you can like pull up a map and like basically zap to different cameras to see the different rooms in like this maze essentially. It's like inside of like some testing center, like in their labs and stuff like that. and you are using these little cards. So you have like so many points that you can use during a round, and like as a round goes on, like you get points, and by doing different things, you get the points. But like, okay, I want to put like dogs down. They cost like the zombie dogs. They cost like 3 or 4 points, and you're literally like throwing stuff at these 4 people trying to kill them, and you're like putting bombs down on the ground, and I'm going to hide a zombie in that closet over there. So when they open the door, like, it comes and attacks them, or, oh, I got enough points. Now I can be Mr. X, and or the tyrant. I'm going to come out, and you actually get to control the tyrant. So you come at them and you're like beating the crap out of people and stuff like that.
Lifting them up with one hand and like crushing their skull was like the most intense. Wow. I was like, whoa.
It's so crazy.
Whoa.
Yeah. So from the mastermind, you're literally, there's 3 rounds, and you have those 3 rounds to kill everyone. You're trying to, well, not just kill them because they respawn. You're trying to basically run out the clock. It starts at like 5 minutes, and when they complete objectives, they gain time. And when you like do damage to them and kill them, they lose a bunch of time. So you're trying to like deplete their time to 0, to basically they get fully infected and die off, and you win. From the survivors' point of view, you're just trying to survive. You're shooting things, you're running from things, there's puzzles in order to get out of this.
Different abilities. Each character has different abilities.
There's each floor that you're on, or each area, because like I said, there's 3 rounds which take place on like 3 different floors essentially. There's a puzzle, like whether you gotta like find all the keys and put them in the door, or you have to find the hidden object to do whatever, and blah blah blah, like all this stuff, and it's different every round. And once you finish that objective and solve that puzzle or whatever it may be, then you can get unlock the elevator, get on the elevator, go to the other floor, and if you can go all 3 rounds with time on the clock, you win. You escape essentially from the testing facility. So it's a really cool premise. It's a lot of fun. Again, for me, it doesn't necessarily justify paying $60 for the game. Like, it would have been a cool, like, free launch thing. Like I said, or not even free, like a 20 or 30. It reminds me, like, even quality wise, of like Friday the 13th game. Like, did you guys ever play the Friday the 13th?
Friday the 13th that's a lot of fun.
Or Evolve. Remember Evolve?
Evolve, yeah. So like those are good games, but again, like Friday the 13th when it came out, it was like a $30 game. Evolve, I think, was a cheaper game at launch too, if I remember right. Like, they're usually a little cheaper because it's just multiplayer. So paying like $20-$30 for this, I would have. So maybe. Like, that's the thing. I probably wouldn't have picked it up at all because I'm not a multiplayer guy, which we've talked about on previous episodes. I'm not a multiplayer guy typically. So I'm like, this is fun. If I had a bunch of buddies who were super into it, I'd play it just because I like hanging out with my buddies, but I'm not going to, go out of my way to play this mode.
Is there cross-play on Resistance right now, or no?
No.
There probably won't ever be.
Yeah. Okay, well, Capcom's a little funky with stuff like that.
I actually got the opportunity while you guys were busy playing Resident Evil 3. I was also playing Resident Evil. I was playing Resident Evil 2. So I got to play quite a bit with my wife, which was the greatest experience of all time. If you guys have ever been able to play with a woman who does not like playing scary games at all, and to watch her screaming and jumping and getting all crazy, it was amazing. But I will share with you. In fact, we're going to try to do some more tonight. As soon as I get off the podcast and the kids go to bed, I'm hoping that her and I are going to be able to play a little more Resident Evil 2. The best thing ever is she has a lot of Fortnite experience, so she was really good at the shooting, much better than me. And I honestly, I was like, Jenny, you're really, really good at the shooting thing. And she's like, that's Fortnite, baby. I'm like, that just killed me. It broke my heart in two.
That's the sexiest thing you've ever seen.
Right. I was so turned on. It was amazing. But so I've been playing that game quite a bit with her. But the other thing that I got to do this week that was more fun than maybe anything else I did all week was I got to play Fortnite with my son. And here's how I did it. So I suck at Fortnite, can't do it. None of the building and killing or whatever. My son is almost 9 years old. It's his favorite thing in the world is to play Fortnite and to trash talk his dad. So he was saying something about how great he was at Fortnite or whatever. And he talked a little trash to me, and I said, okay, listen. I don't want to tell you this, but I'm so much better at that game than I've ever let you. I could destroy you, but I've tried to give you confidence, son, because sometimes in life you let your kid beat you at basketball games so he thinks that he can play basketball. You let your kid play Fortnite and beat you really badly because you want them to think that they're great at. But I'm going to tell you right now, I'm going to crush your little spirit. I'm amazing at this game. Absolutely amazing. And I've let you believe that you are so good for so long, and I'm tired of living a lie. I have just allowed you to think. And he was like, oh my gosh, dude, you talk so much trash, Dad. I challenge you right now. 1v1 me. 1v1 me. I don't even know what 1v1 means. I don't know what he was saying. I don't even know if it was a curse word. I have no idea. So I said, you better go in there and go sign. And he's like, you're just talking trash. And I'm like, no, look, it's no trash. You're going to, as soon as I do this, it's going to change our relationship because I'm going to spank you so bad, you're going to think you're in trouble. And so he goes into the other room and he gets set up. And I told my wife, oh, please come over here. And I had her sit next to me on the couch. We pushed the couch up near the television. So we're like really close to the TV. And I put the headset on while my wife proceeded to play him. She was whipping his butt while I was talking massive trash. It was amazing. And he goes,
So
I know
good.
Mom's playing. I know Mom's playing. You're a liar, Dad. And like he would grab the door and open it, and my wife would hand me the controller, and then I'd just be sitting there and looking over at him and be like, what? Like, what, punk? What? And he's like, ugh. And he'd go back in the room, he'd playing for a little bit. I hand it right back over to her, and she would whip at his butt. And eventually he came in and caught me with the controller, and he's like, I knew it! I knew it! But dude, I talk so much trash, and the way I pulled it off was I was like, dude, I'm telling you, I don't want to do this to you. I'm set. You're never going to want to play this game again when I destroy you right now. You know, and he's like, man, you talk so much trash, Dad. It was good. It was fan. It was one of the high points of my life.
That's awesome. That's funny.
It's so great. Man, cool. Good stuff. Well, I've been playing one other game. I played some Warzone, but you guys have heard enough about that probably. Anything else you want to touch on quick, Setch, before we move on to the question of the show?
Yeah, so my wife and I, speaking of playing games with your wife, we finished Children of Morta, finally. I know I've said it on the podcast before, that game is so good. You guys need to go finish that game. The end is... It wasn't the ending I would have wanted, but I still really enjoyed it. It was really great. So after we finished that, we started playing another co-op game called Darksiders Genesis. Have you guys ever played any of the Darksiders games?
I played a little bit of them on PlayStation 3, PS3, yeah. Like I played way back in the day, but I played a little bit of it and wasn't, I don't know, didn't strike my fancy.
So I love those types of games, right? Those Zelda style, like open world, puzzle, like, environmental platformer or environmental puzzle, action. I love them. Exploration. Yeah. So I played through all of Darksiders 1, loved it. Played through all of Darksiders 2, loved it. Played through a little bit of Darksiders 3, haven't finished it, but it's all right. And then I was like, oh man, Darksiders, it goes co-op. This would be great. I can play this game with my wife. So I picked it up, $40. Picked it up on PlayStation because I'm like, I don't really got a whole lot of games on my PlayStation that I can really play. It'd be fun to play one. And so picked it up. I'm annoyed with this game. I want to like this game so much, but I just can't. Number one, it doesn't scale. Like the ends of it like cut off. I've gone in, tried to change the setting, nothing you could do there. Tried doing it in the PlayStation, and then tried doing it in the game. And the game doesn't
Wait, what's the issue? I don't understand.
So you know how like when you start up a game for the first time, it's like, oh, you want to set your boundaries for your TV for the screen?
Right. Yeah.
Right. So it doesn't give me an option to do that. So it just cuts off the ends. So I'm like, well, maybe it's an issue with my PlayStation. So
you can adjust that in the system settings.
I know, and that's what I did. And then I went and changed it, saved it, restarted the game. Still nothing. Still gets cut off.
What the heck?
Yeah, it's really irritating. So
that's bizarre.
I'm like, I think I have ammo, but I can't see it. And then the co-op for it. Now this is a dungeon crawler, mind you.
Right. Okay? It's basically like a Diablo type game, but it's Darksiders.
Yeah, it's a top-down dungeon crawler, Diablo style game. Co-op, they split the screen down the middle.
Oh, no.
Why
What is that?
would you do that? If I'm playing couch co-op and both sprites are on the screen at the same time in the exact same place, why would you need to split the screen?
What in the
Just
world?
zoom the freaking camera out and scale.
That is the most bizarre thing I've ever heard. Yeah.
Oh man, I'm sitting there and I'm like, it's gonna be fine. I'll get used to it. Oh, the other thing that made me mad. I spent the first like 15 minutes trying to figure out how to get couch co-op first. I had to Google it. You know how you get couch co-op to work? You have to go up to a summoning stone. So you start the game in single player, play in single player till you find a summoning stone, which apparently are like right where you start, by the way. Okay, they're these giant pink-looking pillars. And then player 2 can join the arena. Why not? Now, just thinking outside the box here, why not just make it so player 2 can hit start and then join? I don't know. I played a few other games that let you do that, like Children of Morta, okay, which isn't a giant AAA title, but somehow knows how to do couch co-op correctly. I'm telling you guys, I'm so upset.
No, that's frustrating.
Game.
That is so frustrating. I mean, those are for that type of game, like those are huge. That's
game making 101.
Yeah, that is that type of game. Like those are two things that you need in that game and they need to work well. And they messed both of them up. Like it's so crazy.
So anyway, I'm really sad that Children of Morta is over because that means that my couch co-op time with my wife is going to have to be put on hold until I can find another game. So JJ, hats off to you, man. That's awesome that you're able to play Resident Evil 2 with your.
Oh, it's so good. Have you played Resident Evil 2? I know you're playing 3 right now.
Yeah, no, I'm stuck in Resident Evil 2. So my Steve bought it on Xbox, so I have it. But then I also wanted to own it, so I actually ended up buying it on PlayStation when it went on sale. And so now I'm working my way back through it again on PlayStation. But on the Xbox One, I am stuck. Mr. X has got me pinned down. And there's no R1 button or RB button for me to dodge. So I can't really do anything.
Yeah, I wish that I had the problem in 2 that you guys had with 3 of having too much ammo because I can't find any.
Yeah, there's never any ammo. Yeah. Anyway. So that's it. That's all I'm playing. So after Resident Evil 3, I'm probably going to end up finishing Doom Eternal. I'm at the end of that. And then
nice.
See what happens after that. So that game's good. That game's the best game of the year so far.
Oof. I mean, I haven't played it, so I guess I can't say, but that seems like a bold claim.
Well, what would be your game of the year so far?
Okay. Well,
if you say Patapon, I'm gonna.
2020 just started.
Patapon's like a 2011 game. Like I could do Patapon.
You played it this year.
Yeah, I guess you're right. Boy, honestly, like based off of pure hours and enjoyment together, like I don't know, I'm really loving Animal Crossing. It's such a good game, and honestly, I've never played Animal Crossing before, so I didn't even know what I was getting into, and I've been pleasantly surprised with it because I was like, I think in theory I should like this game, and everyone else seems to like it, so let's give it a shot. And man, I love it so much. Right now, the spring event's going on. I haven't been able to play. I didn't play any of this last week, honestly, because I've been busy with other stuff, doing some other video editing and video gigs and stuff. But this next week, I want to get into it before the Easter event's over. It ends on the 12th, so I got to get in there and collect those Easter eggs.
Yeah.
But cool. I want to hit this real quick. I know we're running a little bit. Oh, we're not running that long.
Yeah.
We're doing all right on time compared. We're always a little long. That's our show.
What?
Let's hit this question of the show real quick because this is a really fun one. So this comes from Hophead Ed over on Discord. And by the way, if you want to join us in the conversation over there, submit questions, hang out during the week, supergamerboys.com/Discord. Go over there, join our Discord. It's a lot of fun. He wrote in and said, you guys are stuck on a deserted island and you can only take, well, he said 6 video game soundtracks, but that was if it was just me and JJ. So I'm going to up it to 9.
Okay.
And we each get to pick 3. So we each get to pick 3 video game soundtracks we would want to take to this deserted island.
And we got to listen to
Which
the
ones?
music.
Which ones do you pick? Oh no, I'm going to the other side of the island definitely from JJ. I don't want to be anywhere near him.
You. I really don't.
Because he'll be running around like naked day one. He's just like, I'm embracing it. I'm wild.
Right.
Why not?
Yeah, I'm just saying that's going to be day one. Clothes are coming off. But Zetch, I will tell you right now, you and I should form an alliance. I am the bigger one here, and I will let us eat Garrett. Either that or you're going to get eaten, Zetch. So, I mean, what line do you want to be on, brother?
I'm going to eat both of you.
Make it. Oh, no crap. Yeah. It's always the little ones that are crazy, you know?
Cool. So what are some choices? What do you have, Zetch? 3 video game soundtracks.
Oh, man. Come back to me.
Okay, JJ, what do you have?
Okay, all right. So 3 video game soundtracks. I'm gonna pick first one. I gotta go old school. I'm gonna pick Legend of Zelda: Link's Awakening as one of mine. And second,
on the Game Boy game?
No, this would be the SNES. The
Link to the Past.
Link to the Past. I'm sorry. That I love Link to the Past music. So I would say that's the one that I'd go with. As far as like pulling one old school retro one, it just stands out for me. And then the other one, the second one would end up being Uncharted 4. I love the score. The soundtrack to that is fantastic. And then I gotta say Last of Us. There's something about the music from Last of Us. It just stands
that like
out.
really like mellow, dark like guitar sound. It's like acoustic guitar. It's like melancholy. It's such a good soundtrack. Yeah,
it's fantastic. Yeah, and for me, it's if I had to listen to video game music, that's the music that I'd be listening to.
Dang, that's awesome. So my 3. I made a list. I guess I didn't really need to write these down because I just know them, and everyone's going to be able to guess them. I would bring the Metal Gear Solid soundtrack in preparation for this question. I went on YouTube and was listening to some, because you can't listen to it anywhere else. Like, so I found it on YouTube. Someone had put together like a playlist with all the songs, and dude, like they are so good. Like they are way better than they have any right to be for a PS1 game, I feel like. I mean, there's a lot of good soundtracks in PS1. Like a lot of people would say like Final Fantasy VII, and I don't know. There's like a ton of other like very cinematic games on that. But for me, like I flipped through and like even the specific songs. There's like the main theme's amazing. The introduction, like when you're on the menu screen, is so good. My favorite is during the boss battle with Psycho Mantis. When you first walk in the room, there's like this really eerie, creepy music, and called like Mantis's Hymn. It's called. Oh, so good. And then like at the very end of the game, in the credits, like the song, it's called "The Best Is Yet to Come." That it plays, and it actually has like a vocalist singing. Such a dramatic ending, so good. So I would definitely bring Metal Gear Solid 1 soundtrack. The God of War soundtrack, dude. That soundtrack gets me pumped every time I listen to it, because it's just like straight up like using all like old like Nordic instruments and stuff from like that time period, from that area of the world. So it's just like a lot of like boom, boom, like bass drums and dun, dun,
I wish I would have picked
dun,
that. The music from God of War is
dun,
incredible.
and like using like actual like choirs and stuff, like singing over it, like in the different languages. Like I don't know what like Slavic or whatever they're speaking, but and singing in. It is so amazing, so good. Every time I listen to it, I'm like, yeah, I'm ready to go to war, man. Like, let's go. Like, this is good. And then the last one is Death Stranding, because I mean the original, like the actual score soundtrack is really good. I was listening to it the other day, but then also, I mean it's such a huge soundtrack. Like not only is there like orchestra scored stuff, but then also part of the soundtrack is they have all the songs by not the Low Roar songs, but they actually have songs like a song from like Churches. There's a few other bands I always, off the top of my head, I'd never heard of some of the bands until I heard this soundtrack, but Kojima actually went to these artists like, hey, here's the a general idea of what this game's about, make a song about it. And so there's a whole like part of the soundtrack is like these songs with like lyrics and stuff by like actual bands and artists, kind of themed around like the general like thoughts and ideas that are going on in Death Stranding. And like, it's just really good stuff. Like I love listening to that. So those are my three: Death Stranding, God of War, and the Metal Gear Solid 1.
That definitely holds up because I remember when you and I first talked about Death Stranding, when your first impressions of playing it. I called you and you had your first opportunity to play it for a little bit. And I said, so what do you think? And you said, dude, yeah, it's beautiful. Man, the soundtrack is amazing. Like, and you
So
kind of
good.
went on and on talking about the soundtrack. So it's neat to hear you talk about it right now, that the soundtrack stands out so much.
Yeah. All right, Zetch, what do you got for us?
All right, so number 1, Metroid Prime 1 soundtrack.
Good
I
one.
love that soundtrack. There's a few tracks in Metroid Prime 2 that I love probably more than all the other contract songs on Metroid Prime 1. But if I had to listen to a whole soundtrack on Desert Island, might as well just take Metroid Prime 1. It's got a lot more other tracks that I actually like too. So I would take the Ocarina of Time soundtrack because I love that soundtrack. I actually listen to that
a good one.
soundtrack while I'm working. Same thing with Metroid Prime. This is and the Mega Man X3 soundtrack.
Huh.
Yep.
I think
Good
I've heard
old
that one.
what?
I've never played that game, so I don't know that
Oh
soundtrack.
man. So like every Mega Man X soundtrack on the SNES, X1, 2, and 3 kind of have like the same sound. In fact, I have a collection of all the soundtracks 1 through 6. And I'll just put that on shuffle while I work, and I'll have like tunes like for the entire day. I listen to a lot of video game soundtrack, a lot.
Nice.
So, but
I know. I wish they had more video game soundtracks on Spotify because they don't. Like, you can't really listen to too many. Like God of War's on there, and I think recently Capcom dropped a bunch on there from like a bunch of their
got the Witcher
random
ones
games
on
and
there.
stuff. But I wish they had some of those more like classic ones and stuff like that.
They
That'd
got Axiom Verge. The Axiom Verge soundtrack is on there.
that one's really good. Axiom
You
Verge is
played
good.
it? You played Axiom Verge?
Yes, that's a good. Yes, that is a good game. I didn't beat it because I am bad at Metroidvania games. I'm just bad. I like them, but I'm really bad at them. But yeah, it's an awesome game.
That game
So
is like.
I was just gonna.
Go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was just gonna say, now that we figured out what soundtracks we're gonna listen to, we should probably try to decide which one of the two of you guys are gonna get eaten. Because I'm telling you right now, if I'm naked and listening to music, I'm gonna get hungry. So, Zetch, if you wanna, I feel like there's more meat on Garrett's bones. I feel like you're not gonna last Garrett and I very long. So we need to form this alliance and go ahead and get this thing rolling right now.
No, I'm actually gonna build my kingdom on the island up in the trees. And
I'm not a tree dweller. I don't think I can do that.
Oh, you're not invited. You're
you-
the
oh.
meal.
Okay. Are you just you're gonna be like running all the monkeys and everything else? Like, okay, all right,
Mm-hmm.
all right.
Okay,
I've
I
thoroughly
see
thought
what's
this
going on
through.
here.
Yeah. You have.
While we were, really, he told us he was trying to think of 3 video game soundtracks, but really in his head he's like, okay, how
Yeah.
am I taking over this?
Taking
Like,
over the island. First of all.
what's the political climate of this island now? Like, what's my plan to like really like take
It's a
over?
religious
Right.
oligarchy.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's already got like the climbing gear that he took from his dad's place, so he can like work his way up the tree. Okay, I feel like you have really thought this thing through.
Yeah.
Zetch.
There we go.
Yeah.
There we go.
I got banana leaves.
You gotta
Okay.
have those for
Gotta have the
wiping
banana
and
leaves.
recovering.
In the last episode.
Man, Zetch is sad. The rest of us are screwed. But
I got
oh
all the
boy,
toilet paper. What do you guys got?
Poison
I'm just gonna
ivy.
use
Yeah.
like a clamshell or something. Just-
You scoop it out. You just gonna
That's the
scoop it out.
man. You're not
That's
gonna last very
horrible.
long.
No, you're gonna get herpes bad, man. How do you,
herpes. What?
or not herpes, hemorrhoid.
Yeah, I
Hemorrhoid.
know. I was
You're-
like,
you're
that's
prob-
not the word.
You're probably gonna get herpes because Zetch is living in a tree and using banana leaves too. I don't know how herpes. How do you get herpes?
None of those ways, JJ.
None of
We'll
those
send you a
ways.
video.
Pretty sure clamshells cause herpes. Look that. Google that. You need to Google that.
Oh, man. Alrighty, guys. Well, thank you so much for listening to our podcast this week. Remember, if you haven't already, please go check out our Patreon, patreon.com/supergamerboys. Help us out over there. Supergamerboys.com/store. You can buy some sweet merch. We got t-shirts. I was just wearing my t-shirt this weekend. I haven't wore it in a while. I was like, oh, I thought I'd lost it. And then it was like stuck underneath another shirt in my drawer that I never wear. So once I moved it, I found it. So I wore that. It's real comfy, real nice. Has our big logo on there. Unfortunately, you can't wear it out and about and show off your love for the podcast because that's against the law now. But
hang it in your window.
Just hang it out the front window. If you haven't already, go rate and review us on your podcast app of choice, Apple Podcast, the iTunes. That helps a lot. Obviously, that's kind of like the bigger one in the podcasting industry, but every little bit helps wherever you can do that.
Yeah, for real. If you guys can give us some reviews, if you really love the podcast, take like 5 seconds and just give us the 5 stars. It goes a long way. So your 5 seconds really helps us out a lot. So appreciate it.
100%. You can find us during the week at our website, supergamerboys.com, Twitter and Instagram at supergamerboys, facebook.com/supergamerboys. I am on Twitter at gmorlang. JJ is on Twitter
at JJ Purdom.
And Zetch is over on Twitter.
I'm at Zetch Keenan and at NerdDad. So
at NerdDads. Yeah.
How do you have time for 2 Twitter accounts? I don't have time for 1.
I only use Instagram. I'm
okay.
I am on Twitter. I guess I browse it once in a while. But you know what my new thing is? TikTok.
Oh no, you're one of those
on TikTok. As
you're
a lot
one of those. I know. I saw your TikTok the other day about is this the video of your son running around trying to catch that fly?
Yeah.
It's so hilarious.
The audio on?
Yes, I did with the crazy
the Blondie song.
Yeah, so good.
He's the one way or another, and he's like running around the house trying to catch a fly.
So fantastic. Thank you so much to Star Andrews for our logo. Check her out on Instagram at Ground Floor Graphics and Facebook.com/Ground Floor Graphics. That is all for our show.
All right. So this week we got a clamshell herpes. He popped one of his hemorrhoids, did Garrett, and we also invited Zetch to eat me. So, ladies and gentlemen, I am JJ Purdom. He is Zetch Keenan, the other guy, the tall one who's skinny. That one's Garrett Morelang. We are the Super Gamer Boys.
And we will catch you on the flippity flop.
Bye. I don't know what to say.
I know, we got to find you something now.
Peace, bro. Take it easy, bro. Later, bro.
Yeah.
Peace. Deuces.
Bye. Thanks.